is Bryan Scott here with you live from the GHS Network. Today our topic is significant events in American history, and today we're focusing on the Cuban Missile Crisis. Let's focus on how that intense period of several days affected Americans. So now over to Bryan with a live witness. Thank you, Bryan. This is Bryan here with James Cox, who is in the military during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Today he's going to tell us his insight of what it was like for the men and women in the armed forces during this time. Thank you for being here with us, Mr. Cox. Tell us what happened.
But before Kennedy was assassinated, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Hood, and of course the news was, about Khrushchev was moving or they had taken pictures with the U-2 planes, the spy planes, and saw where they were putting all the missile silos into Cuba, and of course the Army bases all went on alert, stopped all passes. They started moving all the tanks and infantry, everything out of Fort Hood. One complete division by rail car to Florida. Mm-hmm. And we were getting ready to go to war with Cuba. We didn't know what Sam Hill was going to happen. And then it was just a big standoff between Kennedy and Khrushchev. And I think finally Bobby Kennedy, the Attorney General, President Kennedy's brother, did he give him an ultimatum? Wasn't it an ultimatum he delivered to him?
I believe so, yeah.
And well, anyway, the Americans put up a naval blockade even before this, that I remember, and they stopped all the ships, freighters, all the transport ships from Russia. They turned them all back, wouldn't let them get into Cuba, and then Kennedy told them, so the only resolution for this is we'll remove our missiles out of Turkey if you take your missiles out of Cuba. And Khrushchev said okay. So they started taking down the missiles, and that ended it. It went on for about 13 days. And because I was in the Army, and being part of all of it, seeing that from that aspect, it was scary. We thought we was going to war. Mm-hmm. Plus, we had a wedding planned for December.
Yeah.
And then Kennedy got assassinated in November, just 2 weeks before we got married, and we thought, they said no leaves, nobody's going to leave.
Come here.
We didn't think we was even going to get to have our wedding when we had planned, but they told me to go ahead and go. That one soldier wasn't going to make any difference if we went to war anyway, so. Mm-hmm. I came home, and she and I got married, and that was over 50 years ago. Even before that, the Americans was not going to get involved in an invasion of Cuba. So what they did was they took a lot of the Cuban nationals that were against Castro, and they trained them as soldiers. Mm-hmm. And they, down the lower, I'd have to show you on the map, but an area in Cuba they call the Bay of Pigs, because that's where these soldiers made their assaults, landed, and hopefully they were going to take over, kick Castro out and take over, but Castro knew what was coming. He got word of it, and they were waiting for him, and the Bay of Pigs was just a big massacre for the Cuban nationals. They didn't get any further than that. So, and then after that, then they started landing the missiles in there, and people didn't have a whole lot of confidence in Kennedy because of the fiasco at the Bay of Pigs. It was the next step. We were sure they'd be invading Cuba. And after the Bay of Pigs, then the only next thing to do was take the American Army, and especially with them putting missiles in there, nuclear warhead missiles. You know, less than 60 miles from our coast. They had them aimed for every major city in the United States. It could have been a disaster. Yeah. If they'd had a nuclear war back then, they might not even be here.
Today I feel like blowing up America. Let me go. Oh, hola. Hello. I want to blow up America. Let me put my missiles in your country. See, take down the United States. We will.
This is absurd. I will not let Castro and Khrushchev put missiles in Cuba.
Look, JFK is calling.
I'm going to quarantine Cuba if you don't take the missiles out.
No.
Fine. I'll take the missiles out of Turkey if you take the missiles out of Cuba.
Sounds like a good deal. We should take it.
Okay.
Make sure you look at the
What
camera.
am I going to be biking? And then
Yeah, bike.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, record.
Hello.
Go.
This is a
I can't.
Face on. Game face. You are the president of the United States. You have to lead your country. Come on, let's go. Oh.
You're supposed to blink or